Tonight on News 5 Live, a mid-afternoon murder in Belize City. A weekend fire claims the life of Tessie Kamal, a mother of two. Electrifying Machakilha with renewable energy. And Nancy Marin of the Belize People's Front says they want in on the redivisioning. These stories and more coming up on News 5 Live.
I'm always on the go, and the country is my home. So when I want to get away from it all, I immerse myself with my favorite movies, all from the new SmartStream app. It's easy to use this service. Purchase your movies from the app and use your mobile data, SmartStream data packages, or smart broadband to stream and enjoy. Be like me and stream on the go with SmartStream.
With the touch of a finger, we can easily unlock our phones and securely gain access to our data. This technology is called biometrics, and the Social Security Board is introducing fingerprint recognition to make transactions and handling of your sensitive data secure, fast, accurate, and convenient. Is your identity safe? Fingerprint recognition will keep your Social Security record secure and confidential while making your access fast and easy. It protects your identity. Is your name a common one? Fingerprint recognition uses your unique characteristics, ensuring your hard-earned benefits go directly to you, the rightful owner. Tired of all the paperwork? Fingerprinting makes this hassle-free. Your convenience and your information security is our priority.
Fingerprint recognition is here. Social Security at your fingertips.
Digifans, the 2022 Belize Telephone Directory is now available. Pick up your free copy at any Digistore and ENR branches countrywide. Check out our cellular, residential, and Yellow Page listings. It's the most complete guide in Belize. You can also access the directory on the go by downloading the free Find Yellow mobile app from the Google Play and Apple Store. For more info, log on to www.findyellow.com. The 2022 Belize Telephone Directory. Get your copy today.
evening and welcome to News 5 Live for Monday, June 13th. I am Sabrina Daly. There was a deadly shooting in Belize City today that resulted in traffic being brought to a standstill on Faubourg Road extension. Gunfire erupted sometime after 2 o'clock this afternoon, and when the shooting subsided, 33-year-old Carl Renna lay mortally wounded on the sidewalk. A bicycle and a pair of slippers were found on the scene of the incident, where police and scenes of crime technicians were processing the area for evidence. News 5 understands that as many as 6 rounds were fired in Renna's direction. Several of those bullets found their mark on his body. He was rushed to the Carl Huchner Memorial Hospital for emergency medical attention, but succumbed to his injuries a short while after. Renna has had a history of run-ins with the law, including an arrest in the murder of 15-year-old Jaheim Mahler, who was senselessly gunned down in January of 2017. Despite beating that charge, Renna was again before the court for attempted murder in March of 2020, when he reportedly stabbed Robert Hauer, who was walking along Antelope Street. And several blocks away from the scene of this afternoon's fatal attack on Faubourg Road, a mother of 2 perished in a weekend fire at her home in Belize City. Tessie Kamal's husband was at work on Saturday night when he received a disturbing phone call that their property on Faubourg Road was engulfed in flames. It was not until Bruce Garbutt arrived at the scene that he learned of his common-law's wife's demise. Fire officials are still trying to determine what caused the deadly fire. News 5's Isani Cayetano reports.
39-year-old Tessie Kamal lost her life in a house fire on Saturday night here in Belize City. She was at home in the vicinity of Faubourg Road extension when the elevated structure she occupied with her common-law husband went up in flames. Neighbors told News 5 this morning that they observed the house on fire sometime around midnight.
We came out to see the fire because my little brother come out same time and he run in the room and he say, "Mommy and Daddy, Mr. Bruce house step on fire." So when we come out, because we have to come out because of the heat in the house, so we come out, but when we come out we dey try help, but the house me done under flame already, and we dey stone because we know that she inside. And the last thing we hear that, like, you know, when somebody they run and the person just drop it on, you hear a boop, and then the whole house just engulfed in a flame.
The National Fire Service was alerted of the blaze. However, when they responded, firefighters immediately proceeded to douse the flames. Unbeknownst to them, Kamal was inside the burning structure.
We received the call of a structural fire. We did not receive the call of anybody trapped in a building. There is 2 differences. When we receive the call for a fire, we go into defensive mode. Had we received the call of somebody being in that building, then we would have gone into offensive mode. Seeing that the door was open and entrance was made for us, then we conducted an internal firefighting, and that was when we found this body in the room.
Someone who lives nearby, who spoke with us off camera, said that while the firemen arrived not too long after the call was placed, it was too little too late. The mother of 2 had already perished in the inferno.
When they come, they never take long for getting equipment and out the fire, but it may done late because she perished in there, you know. And we contact the common law, which is Bruce, you know, but we couldn't get him because he made that at work. So then call the direct casino and so then get him. And by the time he come, his facial expression, he want to know, like, what happened? And first thing he asked, where is Tessie? And he running at the house, you know, and the house was still like hot. Even when the zinc and thing they fall, he done the in and he look for her.
Despite the fact that Kamal's common law was contacted while he was on duty at the Princess Casino, Assistant Superintendent Fitzroy Yearwood said that he was still questioned in connection with the tragic incident.
Investigators questioned her common-law husband, Bruce Garbutt, who claimed that he left from home around 7:30 on that night to work at one of the casinos. And The neighbors alerted the police and fire department that they saw flames and after smelling what they believe was smoke. From that house, they contacted the authorities. So at the time, Mr. Garbutt claims he was at work, and Miss Tessie was at home by herself. No?
The National Fire Service has launched an investigation into the cause of the deadly house fire, but have been unable thus far to determine the cause.
To date, there are speculations into the cause, but there isn't anything concrete. We know that the fire started in the southwestern portion of the building, which would have represented the bedroom that Miss Kamal was in. We found her, like rightfully mentioned, that she was in a face-down position. One of the right arm was under the bed. Actually, it was under the remains of the bed. Her back that was exposed to the fire was burnt, leaving her entire face that was shielded by the ground. We know that the room she was in lies literally right across from the front door. So had she been conscious, we believe that she could have made her way out of the building, out of her room, and literally straight across the front door. How she managed to have been found in that position is still undetermined.
Reporting for News 5, I am Isani Cayetano.
A murder was recorded over the weekend when Hattieville mechanic Carlton Bilal Sr. succumbed to gunshot injuries on Saturday afternoon. Today, a News 5 team returned to the family home to speak with Abigail Garbutt, his common-law wife of 33 years, about his death. Dwayne Moody files this report.
2 days after he was shot, 56-year-old Carlton Bilal Sr. died at the Carl Hushner Memorial Hospital. He had been shot at his residence on the night of June 9th when he stepped outside to persons who called out for his son.
My son find out there, he come in. My son bring him in my shoulder, me came in to try back up, but he couldn't back on me foot. Then shot in my foot and the foot just left like shut off, then just the skin the hole it. So he had to put on my shoulder so that he could make it less pain. But he never knew he have one bullet in here. And a shooter in here and bullet large in here and mess up the inside.
Bilal Sr. had to undergo a surgery, and according to his common-law wife, Abigail Garbutt, he passed away around 1 p.m. on Saturday before they could have gotten a CT scan done. Garbutt says she had a feeling that her husband had passed.
I was sitting here and I communicating with my daughter and say, oh, Daddy, the only way he head swell now, that was different yesterday morning. The day before, I come. I tell her in the morning, I'm going to come. I sit down right there and I look, I see like the sky just get black. And I tell her, no, Carlos, you can't do that. But I just the feeling that come over me. He was my breadwinner. I sick for 7 years and he take care of me with my kids. He do everything for me. He helped me. He make sure that I eat to time, I drink to time. He was there, a good provider.
According to Assistant Superintendent of Police Fitzroy Yearwood, one person has been detained in connection with this murder.
We know that Bilal was at home when he heard someone shouting for his son. He went outside to see who it was, and that is when a barrage of bullets were fired at him. He was transported to KHMH and he succumbed to his injuries whilst undergoing treatment. We know that police have since detained someone, and I will verify whether or not that person was charged for this murder.
While one of her sons was taken into custody as a form of preventative detention, Garbutt says that the family continues to grieve and simply wants justice for the murder of Bilal Sr., who was well liked in the community.
You don't know that who, you understand? So let it be. We are left it to God, because God answers all prayers for everybody.
Today is my day. Come knocking at my door. I have to accept it. But he was a good person.
He never deserved it.
He never deserved it. But what? He was at the wrong place at the wrong time. But he in a yard. So, and person come in a yard and do him that. Everybody have their day. And God, I left it in your hands.
Dwayne Moody for News 5.
Desmond Budna, a resident of San Pedro, was shot and killed in Belize City on Friday morning. The construction worker was in the Lake Independence area when he was gunned down on Amandala Drive. According to police, Budna was in town for a graduation, but the 27-year-old would not make it back to the island alive. As he made his way on foot along that street, Budna was ambushed by a gunman who opened fire on him. Assistant Superintendent Fitzroy Yearwood shares additional details.
Initial investigation revealed that Budna was walking on a Mandela extension when he was approached by a gunman from behind who fired several shots hitting its target. Budna was transported to the KHMH where he succumbed to his injuries minutes later. Police are investigating that matter.
Sir, I don't want to dispute your facts, but the gentleman was unfortunately on the ground for a number of hours, at least an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours, because the police were. So, let's
Daniel, whether or not you were on the ground for 5 hours, we, the police, cannot pronounce you clinically dead.
Okay.
You can only be pronounced dead by a medical officer. So if you are transported 1 hour, 2 hours later, 3 hours later, only a medical officer can certify you're dead. Okay?
Yeah. So, more importantly, we've spoken to the family and they are convinced that this gentleman was collateral damage and that he wasn't associated or linked to any sort of crime or gang underworld activities. They say that he's a hard-working man from San Pedro who came to Belize City. What are the investigators able to determine so far since Friday?
Well, Daniel, I know that investigators also, confirm what the family is saying, that his name has never shown up on police radar for any kind of gang or criminal involvement. So that makes it a little more difficult for us to investigate. One, we are trying to establish motive, and obviously this would want to seem like a random act of murder, no?
Coming up, News 5 revisits Machakilha 3 years later. We'll show you new developments in that remote community.
Necesitas un proveedor de servicio móvil que te permita estar conectado con una cobertura LTE rápida y confiable en cualquier instante y desde cualquier lugar. ¿Quieres hablar con tu familia? ¿Compartir tus experiencias con alguien especial? ¿Administrar tu pequeña empresa? Para todo lo que necesites te mereces la mejor experiencia móvil. Ahora puedes hacer mucho más con los planes de datos postpago aumentados de Digi. Puedes disfrutar de 8 gigas de datos en cualquier instante por tan solo $55 mensuales. O puedes compartir hasta 120 gigas con 6 de tus amigos más cercanos. Estos son más datos LTE para que disfrutes durante el día, por las noches y los fines de semana sin restricciones. Disfruta a lo máximo con más datos para llamadas y mensajes ilimitados en todos los planes postpago de Digi. Visita la tienda Digi más cercana para inscribirte hoy. Solo necesitas una identificación válida y un comprobante de domicilio. Únete a la red de mayor velocidad y cobertura en Belice. Para más información visita nuestra página web www.livedigi.com o envíanos un mensaje a través de WhatsApp o Facebook. Digi, nuestra telecomunicación nacional.
Taking its name from the venerable father of the nation, the George Price Highway stretches 77 miles from Belize City to Benque Viejo. Originally built in the 1930s, this cross-country highway system is the artery that links Belize to Central America at the western border with Guatemala. That connection facilitates overland trade, supporting Belize's economic development. Winding its way across the scenic countryside, the George Price Highway from Roaring Creek to Esperanza has been fully reconstructed to meet international standards, with particular emphasis on road safety. A shorter and hassle-free commute is best enjoyed when everyone obeys the traffic laws. To reduce the number and frequency of road traffic accidents, it means that a seatbelt must be worn at all times and the speed limit observed when traveling along the highway. It also means that pedestrians must use sidewalks and crosswalks where available. Buses should only board and discharge passengers at a designated bus stop. Road safety is everyone's responsibility. It begins with you.
Belize Tropical Hemp Company Limited introduces its new CBD products. CBD milk chocolate and CBD dark chocolate. Vegan, gluten-free with no GMO. CBD oil, 100% natural, provides many health benefits such as relieving pain and anxiety and improved heart health. Hemp cigarettes come in a pack of 10 natural hemp smokables. CBD seaweed, natural and refreshing, rich in vitamins and minerals. All products are produced and packaged by Belize Tropical Hemp Company Limited.
It's Super Handy Dad's month again at Brothers Habet and Habet, and that means super deals and super gifts for that super special dad. And we're bringing the power to all Super Handy Dads all month with 15% off all power tools and accessories from Stanley, Black & Decker, DeWalt, Skill, and Bosch. And 15% off our entire brand new line of Track automotive batteries. Super powerful! Plus super clearance deals on Westinghouse lights, select paint colors, and much more. So come in today to Habet and Brothers Habet this Super Handy Dads month and pick up these super deals at Super Savings.
Transformation has come to the rural community of Machakilha. The village is situated in the southernmost part of the country, and the population is made up of families of Mayan descent. For generations, the community has gone without electricity, proper access to potable water, and a roadway suitable for community to and from the village. In order to get the nearest village that is accessible by vehicle, residents of Machakilha were required to trek an often muddy and dangerous 12-mile jungle terrain. Finally, a new road has been constructed from Dolores to Machakilha. This carriageway has opened up a world of possibilities for residents in this once remote community. News 5's Paul Lopez was in Machakilha. He filed the following report.
We have to get up early in the morning and then go bed, then start trekking that road. And sometimes when it's Monday, we have to go early, and when we reach, we're tired.
3 years ago, in May of 2019, a News 5 team visited Machakilha village to highlight the plights of students within the community whose journey to school from the village meant negotiating 12 miles of rigorous jungle terrain. At the time, Alfonso Putul was preparing to sit the primary school examinations. In that story, we called attention to the physical challenges that Putul and his peers were faced with, having to travel outside of the village to sit the exams.
I'm from the class of 3 general now. This is my 3rd year for high school. I only have like 1 more year to go before I graduate high school.
Despite the odds, Putul successfully sat the PSCs and is now enrolled at Corazon Creek Technical High School. Some improvements were made to the roadway during Putul's first couple of years in secondary school. It wasn't until May of 2022, however, that the roadway reached Machakilha.
I was actually proud of seeing those workers that build the road to this beautiful village, because since we had really tough time to communicate with other or go and visit other places, but now it's actually easier and faster to go and let them less dirty of clothes. It is really helping me for my education, and from now I don't have to walk to go to school, and I really appreciate this road that you built for us to go to school.
This new access by vehicle to Machakilha has also transformed the community's mode of transportation. Already, the number of vehicle owners within the community is increasing. Alfonso's uncle, Marciano Putul, no longer has to park his truck miles away from home.
It makes my life a lot easier, because before I had to leave it out there and I always be worrying about it, and because I have nobody to mind it. But now that I have it in my yard, it's much easier, and I bring my stuff in. Like, I just get up, drive out, drive in back, nice and neat. It feels a lot relaxed, because then I don't have to stretch my feet to walk way in. So it's a lot easier right now.
The construction of this coarse road has also paved the way for the electrification of Machakilha. From a community that has, for generations, used candles and kerosene lamps as their main source of light, today, neighborhood stores are selling frozen items. Several months ago, when the dirt road was only partially built, the government of Belize and villagers teamed up to truck and carry solar panels into the village in order to provide electricity to homes and businesses.
The solar is doing great. It's helping a lot with the shop. It provides us the bulbs, and it also provides the freezer. The freezer is working well. We normally freeze water or cokes there for visitors. We couldn't get the electricity lights. We normally use the candles for our lights, and we don't have the freezer, but when we get the electricity, we bought the freezer, so because we already have the solar panel for it.
It makes my business grow a little bit more, because due to cold stuff, and then I got ice chicken, so there's no need for the people to go ahead and walk for things where they would want. So it's a very helpful thing where they do for us. Then yes, we like what you said, we have the locals, but now and then you would want to know, you get to try out there, That's the way I see that.
And solar power has also transformed the way Alfonso Putul approaches his academic studies at home.
The electricity is really helpful to me, because I have light at home now to do my homework, and it helps me because less gas or things we use to do our homework with, because now things are really expensive, and it's really helping me for my education. So we have much more electronic things to own, because it is really easier to get access to other people, like relatives or friends.
One, my hand.
2, 3. Right.
The next phase in the electrification process is the installation of a water pump powered by solar energy to provide potable water to every household in Machakilha.
There's actually one more thing, but we're only our transportation to school. We want that now because you know gas today price is rising up and it's really expensive for us because we cost a lot of money to go to school. We need gas for our bikes, and then now we want our transportation. We want to see our own bus reaching our own village, and we'll be exciting for that.
Reporting for News 5, I am Paul Lopez.
While we caught up with Alfonso Potul and his family 3 years later, the purpose of our visit to the far-flung community of Machakilha on Friday was to attend the inauguration of the village's solar and water systems. Oscar Requena, the Minister of Rural Transformation, spoke about the transformative work that is taking place within the community. Here is what he told us.
Many times, Machakilha is considered the last village way in the bush, but that has changed today, particularly because we have seen the hard work and the collaboration of the Ministry of Infrastructure and Housing, along with our Ministry of Rural Transformation, to bring the road all the way to Machakilha. This is a wonderful accomplishment. For many years, the people in Machakilha were clamoring that they wanted a road. This project was started last year. Unfortunately, due to the weather, it was not completed. And I made a solemn commitment to the people of Machakilha that we were going to see this project through. 2 weeks after the road was completed, we saw 3 families, buying their vehicles. They can now go to Punta Gorda if they need to go and conduct business. If they have an emergency to deal with in the community, they can go to the hospital. It has just opened up the world to them, and that is a wonderful experience. I am happy to be a part of this process. And I will say to you that as a Ministry of Rural Transformation, we are committed to oversee, to promote, and to support the development of our rural spaces. When you talk rural development, you talk education, you talk health, you talk the economy, you talk agriculture, the overall development of our country. Over 55% of our people live in the rural area. And, they have, to a great extent, really been abandoned and neglected. But we are intent on the Plan Belize and the leadership of the Honorable John Briceño as our Prime Minister to turn it around and to create an enabling environment where people will be able to improve their lives, live better lives, and certainly contribute to the development of our country.
None of the roadworks, solar energy introduction, and water supply upgrades in Machakilha would have been possible without contributions from key partners: the Government of Belize, Barefoot Children's Ministry, Plenty Belize, the Global Environmental Facility, the GEF Small Grant Program, and UNDP all teamed up to make these projects a reality. Representatives from these organizations were present on Friday to congratulate the community.
I remember the first and the main thing the villagers was asking was, yes, we're happy with the solar, but we need the road. We need the road for education, for health, to get to town to do business, for everything. And of course, Mr. Miller said, well, if you fix the road, even if you don't put the rock but open it, we can drive on it to bring the panels, otherwise we'll have to carry it. And those panels and those batteries are very heavy, and so we said, well, we're going to fix the road. And so we're very happy today. It's not a perfect road, but as Mr. Stanley Usher from Emery Grove will tell you, it's not pretty, but it's 10 times better than what we had.
It was October 2018, right on the CMD, but after the election for Alcalde, that Plenty, GEF, and the village had our first discussion about the needs and wants of the community. And we began the planning process for this work we are celebrating today.
Last year we came here to do the installation.
and I can remember that we had to walk to reach here, but now we didn't have to walk. I see that the road is fixed, and thanks to the Ministry of Rural Transformation. And now we have we electrified Machakilha, and today we are celebrating. And just last 2 weeks, we had trained the solar power board, the females.
We oftentimes engage in at the higher level in these multilateral agreements. So we have the Sustainable Development Goals, we have the UNFCCC, the United Nations Framework for Climate Change, and the Convention on Biological Diversity. But what does that mean for the people on the ground in the communities? And I think this is what it means.
Dangriga will have a state-of-the-art fire station in about a year from now through funding of $1.2 million from the U.S. government. Ground has been broken in that municipality to mark the start of construction. Present were the Minister of Sustainable Development, Orlando Hebet, Dangriga Area Representative, Minister of State, Dr. Luis Zabaneh, and U.S. Chargé d'Affaires, Leila Moses-Ones. Minister says the situation in the fire department was so dire when he assumed office, there were few stations that could be rehabilitated. The rest needed new facilities.
We saw it as priority to be able to upgrade those that could still be upgraded, but to construct new ones for those that were really out of order and really in the worst and deplorable conditions. So with our strong partnership and relationship that we have been in collaboration with the United States government through the U.S. Embassy and the United States Military Liaison Office, last year we completed a new fire station in Belmopan, which is a significant improvement from what was there before, but it serves more than one purpose. And now the second of those two larger ones, investments in the fire stations, is now coming here to Dangriga. But we are also continuing to get the assistance with fire trucks, and as I mentioned, we have a pilot program for emergency medical services starting in the Cayo district, and then hopefully we'll move it as soon as possible to the other districts.
This is part of the U.S. government's humanitarian assistance program that is run through the Department of Defense, and more specifically U.S. Southcom, which is based in Miami. And we have a very robust program through the humanitarian assistance program with health security, focused on fire safety, and also projects that are ongoing with regard to supporting villages in terms of medical interventions.
Area Representative for Dangriga, Dr. Luis Zabaneh, says the new facility will no doubt bring about a sense of comfort, since it will enhance the firefighting skills of the fire station in that municipality. After the break, Prime Minister Briceño discloses the figures in Courtney Koyi contracts. But first, here is a look at the latest COVID-19 figures.
For the 2020 census, one house at a time. Make we count, we work towards the future. Everybody count. We need information and your cooperation. Everybody in the Belize population. Mommy, daddy pick me on the senior section. Plus we need help from the youth population. From all over, we need data to measure development in every area, every aspect in a Belizean culture. 88, 67, every border. Make we count, make we count, make we count for the 2020 census. One house at a time, make we count, make we count. We work towards the future, everybody count.
The government of Belize has been blazing a trail and delivering on every milestone of its tax reform program. Iris Belize was launched in 2021 and its second phase is here in 2022. It provides taxpayers and or their representatives with the ability to sign up for Iris Belize. You'll now be able to inquire, file, and pay online. This means that tax clients like you are able to sign up online and get access to individual and companies' tax accounts. No more long lines. Contactless, safe, prompt support from the privacy and safety of your homes and offices.
Welcome to Design Depot. All in one place. Shop brands you know and trust, like Kohler. Welcome, GE Appliances.
Welcome.
Oran Windows.
Welcome.
Tiles from around the world.
Welcome.
Sherwin-Williams Paint and Coating. Visit us today at Mile 3 on the Philip Golson Highway or call us at 223-3768. Design Depot. All in one place.
Belizeans deserve a fast, dependable, high-quality internet service in their homes for online, virtual classes, and to work from home. It's the new way of life. Diginet is the #1 fiber service that is powering Belize's digital transformation. And now, this reliable fiber service is even more affordable with our new entry plan. For a limited time only, you and your family can enjoy 20 megabits per second of fiber service to your home for only $49 monthly. No more missed classes and interrupted meetings. It's costing you time and money. Diginet is better than cable and better than wireless. Visit a Digistore today to sign up for the best home internet service in Belize. Come see what you've been missing. Same high quality, fast, and reliable fiber service, now at an even lower price. For more information, visit livedigi.com/Diginet. Digi, our national telecom.
Reusable plastics. Did you know that until we find an alternative for plastic and all its uses, we will continue to need plastics, such as in the health sector? Plastic becomes a huge problem for Belize when it becomes waste and is improperly disposed of. When it is thrown on the side of the road and in our rivers and seas, it's eaten by animals and in turn by people, and it becomes an environmental and health issue. It costs us money for disposal, filling up dumps and landfills, and paying for associated healthcare. So what can you do? Choose to refuse single-use plastics is step 1. Step 2, instead, use the plastics that were meant to be reused, like coffee cups, water bottles, and food containers. We're not talking about buying a $1 bottle of water. I mean, you can, but how long will that last you? Reusable plastics keep plastics out of the environment for a much longer time and are even better than other forms of plastics like biodegradable or even compostable or bio-based plastics. By reusing, you are also saving money since you aren't rebuying the same thing over again. Think about it. How many bottles of water do you buy every week? How much does that cost compared to the cost of a reusable bottle? Imagine what you can do with the extra money. Click on the link below to see what you can do to help end the nightmare of single-use plastics. I'm Alison Castillo, and now you know.
What if the profits of your bank were shared equally with you instead of with unknown shareholders and large corporations? What if those profits remained in Belize to enrich the communities where we live? What if just having an account with your bank meant that you were now a part owner of that bank? What if your voice mattered and you had a say in how your bank is being run? What if your bank was always looking out for your best interests and its biggest goal was to see you succeed? That's what it means to be part of a credit union where all of our members are in this together. Communities work best when they work for each other. Cooperation strengthens us all. Discover the credit union difference and find out just how stronger we can be together.
Standing over this. Messi.
Great entertainment stays with you, and we bring you great entertainment. Next Gen, the ultimate digital experience.
Last week, News 5 asked Minister of State in the Ministry of Finance, Chris Koyi, about the law contracts that the Prime Minister has awarded to the law firm of Courtney Koyi LLP, owned by himself and Senator Eamon Courtney. Prior to that, the PM had told the media that he hires reputable law firms to represent the government legally because the junior Crown Counsels at the Solicitor General's office are not experienced enough to tackle senior attorneys in highly technical cases in court. So when the PM went ahead and hired Courtney Koyi LLP, the opposition and the Public Service Union demanded to see the figures that were being paid to the law firm. There were factions that even called to see the letter that the law firm had written to the Office of the Governor General seeking exemption, allowed for members of the National Assembly and the Senate under Section 64(2) of the Constitution. UDP Chair Senator Mike Parafit had written under the Freedom of Information Act for the details of these contracts to be revealed. The PM has revealed those figures. In a response to Parafit, dated June 10, 2022, Prime Minister Briceño states that Courtney Koyi LLP has received $227,842.50, for which some of the matters are still ongoing in court. The letter speaks to the inclusion of copies of exemption letters issued by then Governor General Sir Colville Young, granted to the law firm. There was another $224,745.73 paid out to Senior Counsel Douglas Mendez in legal fees for legal work that are also still ongoing. The PM went on to point out legal fees that were paid out to law firms associated to former Prime Minister Dean Barrow, which far exceed the amounts listed as payments to the 2 law firms listed above. Last week, we showed you the lawyer letters that were sent out in the aftermath of a hotly contested village council election in Tea Kettle. During the process, woman police constable Alicia Trapp got into a verbal exchange with Cayo South area representative Julius Espat outside of the venue. Both of them had their attorneys write to the other, and a complaint against Espat was filed by WPC Trapp. In responding to a letter that was forwarded to Commissioner of Police Compton Chester Williams, pointed out that, contrary to Trapp's claims, there was no physical contact on the part of the Minister of Infrastructure Development and Housing. In fact, Commissioner Williams tells attorney Orson Elrington, quote, "There is no iota of evidence to suggest that your client was assaulted by Honorable Espat. It is therefore clear that the only assault committed was upon Honorable Espat by your client. Thus, your client is to be arrested and charged for the crime of common assault committed upon Honorable Espat," unquote. The Belize People's Front is demanding to have a seat on the Redivision Task Force, which the government has as its field supervisor, Colette Montejo, a PUP senator and a member of the People's United Party's executive. The opposition United Democratic Party has come out swinging against this appointment, asking for someone who is, quote, "independent and professional," unquote. Prior to the general elections, it was the Belize Peace Movement which represented the smaller political parties, including the BPF, that filed an application in the Supreme Court asking the court to compel the Elections and Boundaries Department to do its job and notify Parliament that the redistricting was long overdue. The Peace Movement's hope was that the count would order the government to undertake the exercise before the elections. But that was not the case. The application was not successful, and the elections were held without the redistricting. Now, the Belize People's Front is holding the Prime Minister to his speech, which he delivered at the 9th Summit of the Americas in New York recently, in which he called for inclusion and unity at this point in time. Leader of the BPF, Nancy Marin, said it would be the right thing to do.
There has been a lot of political mischief in the past being done as far as elections. So it is a necessary process. The country has grown, the population has grown, so it is very, very necessary. But we believe that that we must be included as part of all of the committees, but especially this one, regardless of the numbers of votes we garnered in the election. That shouldn't matter in the process of democracy, because we believe in inclusion. And so we were very happy when the Prime Minister spoke at the Summit of the Americas, highlighting the need for inclusion and for unity in the Americas. And we believe that all the countries of Latin America and the Caribbean must start at home, and they must promote unity and inclusion at home. We are very able and we are very willing to work with the government in the development of our country. But it is our utmost interest to safeguard free and fair elections.
So while the Belize People's Front wants a spot at the head table and they will hold the PM to task, Marin says they will fight it on the international stage if the Prime Minister does not yield, and asked everyone to push for participatory democracy for the advancement of Belize.
If he changed his stance and said that in the summit, it would be hypocritical of him to not practice what he preaches at home. And I am willing to go to the international media and, fight this case of inclusion all the way, because he can't say something out to the world and not practice it at home. I'm not going to allow that to happen. Now that he has stated his case, we want to be included as well. We have not found anything that that says that we can, and nothing that says that we can't. It's open. It's open to the discretion of the politicians. So it's really just the political will to say that they will include everyone, and we want to be a part of it. The third parties have very prepared, very intelligent people, and we are proposing to have Mr. Dwight Gabb in the Election and Boundaries Committee. We believe he's very prepared, he's educated, he's an IT specialist.
News 5 reached out to Prime Minister John Bersenio today to ask whether he will include the third parties in this process. His response was, quote, "At the moment, we only have a technical team looking at this matter. No political party is represented. There will be discussions with everyone at the appropriate time," unquote. When we return, 7 illegal Cuban migrants are ordered to leave Belize. But first, here's the weather forecast with data from the Belize Met Service.
Benny's is kicking off Father's Day with popping deals for dad in the month of June. Visit a Benny's near you and get store-wide discounts on selected items such as Milwaukee and Axie Power Tools, Charbroil Barbecue Grills, car care products, Karcher pressure washers, and much, much more. Make dad happy with popping deals for dad in June, only at Benny's. Celebrating 75 years of quality and savings.
¿Sabías que Hospital Galenia modificó los protocolos de seguridad y prevención de salud ante la pandemia de COVID-19 para evitar contagios?
Garantizamos contener a los pacientes que allí estamos manejando y disminuir riesgos de infecciones para el resto del hospital.
Hospital Galenia, más que un hospital.
Download the SmartStream app on the Android Play Store and create your account to get access to movies and stream at home or on the go. Prepaid customers can purchase regular data packages or get a discounted rate on a special SmartStream package by dialing 7737. Postpaid customers will be billed monthly. Never miss a movie again with SmartStream.
When all hope is lost and the days ahead look grim, we find ourselves looking for someone to shake things up, rescue us, and point us in the right direction. What if the one we've been waiting for has been here all along? Join us for our new series, Troublemaker, as we learn about a man who wasn't afraid to stand up for what's right to make this world a better place.
Are you looking for low-cost television advertising? Have we got a deal for you? Advertise on Channel 5's Daily Classifieds. Channel 5's Daily Classifieds is one of the most effective methods for introducing yourself and your business to the community. Use our Daily Classifieds to recruit employees, promote specials, promote your products or services, promote a business opportunity, increase traffic to your website, and advertise items you have for sale. Let us help you to save valuable time and money. Call us today at 280-0013 or visit us at our offices on Coney Drive to discuss how we can help your business grow affordably. Channel 5 Daily Classifieds. Advertise today.
When someone you love becomes a memory, the memory becomes a treasure. Channel 5 introduces the Daily Obituaries. The Daily Obituaries will broadcast all death and funeral announcements and memorials to honor your loved one's life and memories. The Daily Obituaries airs on Channel 5 prior to the evening newscast, with subsequent repeats at 10 p.m. and 12 noon the following day. It will also be placed online on our social media platforms, all for a standard package fee. Celebrate their lives and memories with Channel 5's Daily Obituaries. Honor in life and reverence in death.
Dwayne Moody, Isani Cayetano, Marian Ali, Paul Lopez. Your News 5 police teams do whatever it takes. Go wherever they need to go, so you can catch the story wherever you are, whenever you want, on whatever device. Channel 5 believes on television, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, because news is now everywhere, all the time, and so are we.
Whether you're at home, on the road, at work, or at school, if you see news happening or suspect that something might be up, call or text the Channel 5 News Belize tip line at 672-5555. You don't have to give us your name, just give us the tip. That's 672-5555. Call or text us so we can check it out.
¿Sabías que Hospital Galenia modificó los protocolos de seguridad y prevención de salud ante la pandemia de COVID-19 para evitar contagios?
Creamos un concepto que denominamos quirófano santuario no COVID.
Hospital Galenia, más que un hospital.
The June session of the Supreme Court commenced today, and it was anticipated that Canadian national Jasmine Hartin would have been at court. News 5 has confirmed with attorney Dickie Bradley that the trial date for the woman charged with manslaughter for the shooting death of Superintendent Henry Jamot has not been set as yet. That process, according to Bradley, will see Hartin indicted in the Supreme Court. Thereafter, the case will likely see several adjournments as other cases also to be heard. There will be a case management to determine which statements are relevant, and thereafter, a possible trial date is set. Attorney Bradley says the best bet is that the trial will commence at the end of the year or early next year. Coincidentally, Andrew Ashcroft, with whom Horton shares a pair of twins, issued a release today saying that along with his family, he has moved to Turks and Caicos. On May 25th, Ashcroft was given legal custody of the twins. Ashcroft says the move is to perform his new job of developing a similar hotel to the Belize Alaya Hotel. The release says, quote, "I hold no ill will or malice towards Jasmine and wish her well with the court proceedings in which she is facing charges of manslaughter, cocaine possession, and common assault. During the hotel development process, and at the time when we were working together, I had gifted to Jasmine 10% of the issued share capital of the holding company of the Belize Alaya Hotel. I intend to obtain an independent valuation for these shares and to provide her with their fair value," unquote. A case that has been ongoing since March of this year, brought by 7 Cubans against the state on grounds that their fundamental human rights were violated while in detention, has come to an end. Today, Justice Lisa Showman found that the 7 Cubans, whose case was presented by the Human Rights Commission of Belize, had no legal basis. Justice Showman ruled that there is need to ensure that the removal order for the Cubans be effected as soon as is practical by the state. Also, that the Cuban prisoner, who has 2 children in the custody of the Human Services Department, be allowed to have daily video calls with her daughters and weekly visits with them until they are removed from Belize. Justice Showman pointed out that this case was not about when or where the Cubans will be taken when they are removed from Belize. They, through the Human Rights Commission, had intended to seek asylum in Belize, but a number of errors were contained in affidavits filed by the Commission and their case collapsed midway. The Cubans were initially arrested and charged in February when they were found to have entered Belize illegally. They were fined and all managed to pay the $1,000 fine, but in the process, they filed their application. Throughout their case, they indicated that they did not wish to return to Cuba for fear that they would be harmed for protesting against the Cuban government. Now that the court has ruled, the state will decide when the Cuban will be removed from Belize. 2 persons lost their lives in separate drowning incidents at the Rio On pools in Mountain Pine Ridge over the weekend, prompting the Forest Department to issue a public notice. The department warns the public about the risks of swimming in the Mountain Pine Ridge recreational areas. The Forest Department says that it is reviewing all visitor safety protocols to address any potential gaps and that a public awareness campaign is forthcoming. This morning, ASP Fitzroy Yearwood discussed the weekend drownings.
I know that San Ignacio police responded to the Rio Caves in the Mountain Pine Ridge area, where they spoke to Joshua McTaggart, who claims that he was with his wife and his 3 children, his 2 sons and a 7-year-old daughter, where the 2 sons went and asked permission to go and swim in another pool separate from the one where himself and his wife and his 7-year-old daughter Ceres were swimming, and he and his wife were taking pictures. When their daughter disappeared, they asked for assistance from other people that were in that area swimming, and about an hour later they found the 7-year-old body. A doctor and a nurse that was in the area also assisted by administering CPR, but the baby was non-responsive, so she was transported to the San Ignacio Community Hospital, where her body now awaits a post-mortem.
Last week, we reported on ASR BSI's multi-million-dollar investment at Big Creek Port. The company's improved raw sugar and molasses logistics at the port is expected to create savings for both ASR BSI and sugarcane farmers in the north. When we caught up with the Minister of Agriculture, Abelardo Mai, in Belmopan today, he explained that ASR's investment and the savings it will bring to farmers comes as a relief.
One of the biggest challenges that cane farmers have faced is the high cost of producing sugarcane, the high cost of transportation, the high cost in general that we're faced with. You will understand by now that farmers do pay the cost, a part of the cost that BSI incurs. Local handling and ocean freight, farmers do absorb a portion of that cost. So when you accelerate the time of loading from what was 15, 20 days to 3 days, then that's supposed to be a monumental savings in terms of costs. And that then trickles down to the farmer. So whenever BSI saves $1, the farmer is saving a portion of it. And that is very important. Right? You will recall that sugar was moved before by barge all the way down the river into the bay and out to the sea, and loading was done there with a crane. That now is all in the past. BSI now transports their sugar by road all the way to Big Creek, and then the loading, the filling of the ship, I don't know what they call the term exactly, is very fast and efficient now. So whenever they save $1, the farmers are happy because it should trickle down to them.
We also asked Minister Mai for his thoughts on the leader of the opposition's recent trip to a carrot farm in San Carlos Village in the Orange Walk district. Following his visit, opposition leader Shine Barrow accused Minister Mai of allowing local carrots to rot in the field by approving import license for Mexican carrots. Well, Minister Mai says Barrow does not know much about agriculture. Mai contends that the carrot field visited by Barrow had been abandoned by the farmer. Here is how he puts it.
As far as I know, as far as the ministry knows, there was no carrot rotting in the field. There was none. And I think the media went out there and did their verification themselves. If that was happening, I would have been the first to know, because farmers would call me. They would call me. Where I saw the leader of the opposition in a field with overgrown carrots, that carrot farmer is a Mennonite. And he planted carrot, but did not tin out. Tin out means when you plant carrot, there are seeds that fall closely together. And the farmers look back into the field when it's already germinated and sprouted and starting to grow, and you tin out the field so that you have enough space for the carrot to develop. That, I understand from the technicians, was never done. So you have carrots of different sizes in the field. So when the Mennonite saw that, he abandoned the field. He abandoned it. He says, I'm not good for this. Yeah. He's good at producing corn, right? So he abandoned it. And that was the field that was visited by the leader of the opposition and the lady in Orange Rock South. But I have been in the field a number of times after that, and I have not seen carrots rotten.
I gather that you're saying that he was disingenuous in the report he made from his visit?
I think that he doesn't know much agriculture. And I'm saying this from a truthful perspective, right? I don't think he understands much agriculture, right? When you don't know agriculture, you make comments like that, you know. But those who know agriculture, when they see the video, say, well, this is an abandoned field, right?
If you have traveled through the Philip Golson International Airport into Belize recently, you would have noticed a new inspection feature. OIRSA is now conducting pre-inspections using X-ray machines and canines to detect organic material that travelers may be carrying. A memorandum of understanding was signed between OIRSA, the Ministry of Agriculture, and Baha in Belmopan today to formalize the pre-inspection process at the PGIA.
Quarantine inspections are what Baha physically does at the airport, but pre-inspection means that we are using state-of-the-art technology to scan the luggage using a machine to see what is inside. Us as OIRSA, we cannot open a luggage, but we scan it and see what is inside, and if we detect any organic material inside the luggage, we tag it so that it goes to Baha for Baha to inspect it physically. If it's something that is restricted, Baha's regulation will kick in and do with that commodity what their regulation states to do. That is one service. The other service is using canine units. We train canine units in Panama, and we use them here. We walk them around the arrival lounge, and the canine is trained to detect organic material as well, mainly vegetables and meats. So once the canine also detect a luggage with organic material in it, the dog detects it, and the handler tags the bag, and that bag goes to Baha for inspection.
Just ahead, introducing this year's delegates for the Miss Universe Belize.
I'm always on the go, and the country is my home. So when I want to get away from it all, I immerse myself with my favorite movies, all from the new SmartStream app. It's easy to use this service. Purchase your movies from the app and use your mobile data, SmartStream data packages, or smart broadband to stream and enjoy.
Be like me and stream on the go with SmartStream.
Are you looking for low-cost television advertising? Have we got a deal for you? Advertise on Channel 5's Daily Classifieds. Channel 5's Daily Classifieds is one of the most effective methods for introducing yourself and your business to the community. Use our Daily Classifieds to recruit employees, promote specials, promote your products or services, promote a business opportunity, increase traffic to your website, and advertise items you have for sale. Let us help you to save valuable time and money. Call us today at 280-0013 or visit us at our offices on Coney Drive to discuss how we can help your business grow affordably. Channel 5 Daily Classifieds. Advertise today.
When someone you love becomes a memory, the memory becomes a treasure. Channel 5 introduces the Daily Obituaries. The Daily Obituaries will broadcast all death and funeral announcements and memorials to honor your loved one's life and memories. The Daily Obituaries airs on Channel 5 prior to the evening newscast, with subsequent repeats at 10 p.m. and 12 noon the following day. It will also be placed online on our social media platforms, all for a standard package fee. Celebrate their lives and memories with Channel 5's Daily Obituaries. Honor in life and reverence in death.
Whether you're at home, on the road, at work, or at school, if you see news happening or suspect that something might be up, call or text the Channel 5 News Belize tip line at 672-5555. You don't have to give us your name, just give us the tip. That's 672-5555. Call or text us so we can check it out.
Dwayne Moody, Isani Cayetano, Marian Ali, Paul Lopez. Your News 5 Belize teams do whatever it takes. Go wherever they need to go, so you can catch the story wherever you are. whenever you want, on whatever device. Channel 5 Belize on television, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Because news is now everywhere, all the time. And so are we.
Reduce your risk of viral illness like the flu or the coronavirus. Wash your hands frequently with soap and water or with an alcohol-based hand sanitizer. Cover your nose and mouth when coughing or sneezing with a tissue. Throw away, then wash hands immediately. Avoid close contact with anyone who has the cold or flu-like symptoms. If you become ill, please visit your doctor or nearest health center and share your travel history. A health and wellness message from your Ministry of Health.
The 14th annual Border Commanders meeting between the militaries of Belize and Mexico was hosted in Corozal. Headed by Rear Admiral Elton Bennett, the Commandant of the Belize Coast Guard, the three-day meeting was focused on strategic-level discussions and operational planning. Its aim was to develop a framework to address security challenges faced by both countries in the border regions. Today, Bennett spoke to News 5 via Zoom, saying that the meeting was a success because of agreements made on intelligence development and information sharing for effective cross-border operations in national airspace and sea spaces.
The intent here was to establish a framework for the military forces of both Mexico and Belize to chart a way forward for the next year. And what we would now want to do is to get together during the year to establish and create sort of a strategy that would be able to coordinate our efforts on both sides of the border. We have to understand and appreciate that this is very huge in magnitude. It includes the Belize Defense Force and the Belize Coast Guard on our part, but on the Mexican part, it includes the Mexican Army, Navy, and the Air Forces who come to the table, and we discuss those challenges that we face together as a country. We discuss opportunities as well that may exist for our security forces. And we get to exchange information and really create a operational design that would steer us into the next 12 months.
One of the key challenges facing the region is narco-trafficking, particularly as it relates to drugs being moved from South America through Belize and into Mexico before making its way to the U.S. Rear Admiral Bennett says that they also looked at non-traditional cooperation and broadened the scope of security to encompass military support in different sectors, such as tourism, trade, agriculture, and education.
Drug trafficking, and particularly drug trafficking by air, is our number one issue that we work together to combat. And security in its broad sense encompasses more than just those transnational organized crime, drug trafficking. But we also look at opportunities and consider security in its non-traditional sense. We try to envision what the future looks like along the border regions. When we look at the increased agricultural trade between Belize and Mexico, any cross-border activity, there is an opportunity for illicit activities to occur. And so we were looking as well as those trade agreements between Belize and Mexico to determine the extent of vulnerability that may exist between movement of cattle from one side of the border to the next, but also the movement of funds from one side to the next, and determine how best we can secure those trade agreements, especially for our side. We'd also look at Tren Maya, that mega project in the Yucatan Peninsula that is intended to connect, I think, about 900 kilometers by rail. That means a lot of movement of people, and the potential that exists for that rail or road to connect Mexico into Belize, possibly through Borregues Key. So we're looking at what the future operating environment would look like in order to start the preparation for the security forces. For example, for the Belize Coast Guard, that means expanding our operational base on northern Borregues Key to ensure that whenever there's that increase of movement of people or movement of goods along northern Borregues into Xcalac and Mahawal, Mexico, that we are prepared to deal with those security challenges.
And finally tonight, there was a huge buzz on social media over the weekend as the Miss Universe Belize organization announced the 7 new delegates. They are vying for the title and an opportunity to represent the country on the international stage at Miss Universe. On Tuesday, we will be talking with National Director Romeo Escobar for more on this year's activities and this cohort of beauty ambassadors competing for the title. But if you haven't, here are their names and where they are from. 19-year-old sales clerk Kyra Nunez from Orange Walk, 27-year-old PhD candidate Alina Scott from Cayo, 27-year-old tutor Kenya Tejada of Spanish Lookout, 22-year-old nurse Sigourney Usher of San Ignacio, 27-year-old writer Samantha Singh of Placencia, 25-year-old project management officer and adjunct lecturer Ashley Lightburn of Belize City, and 20-year-old florist Grace Brown of San Pedro. For more details on their bios, so you can get to know more about the delegates for this year's pageant, head on over to Miss Universe Belize Facebook page. And that's the news. Tonight's broadcast is available in both text and streaming video at channel5belize.com. You can also connect with us on our Facebook page at facebook.com/News5Live. I'm Sabrina Daly. Thanks for joining us. And from all of us here at News 5, please remember to wash your hands, keep your social distance, and stay safe. Good night.